What'd you say?
Huh? Okay.
We're live? You mean like people can hear me talking right now?
Oh.
So I shouldn't say anything too crazy.
I knew I'm alive.
You're not
Alive.
You're a liar.
I am.
You're lying about being alive.
Hey, it's not nice.
How's everybody doing today?
Okay, act like you care. Okay.
I don't. I just want to get the conversation started so I can start making fun of people.
Wow. How's everybody doing today? Like Dan cares.
It's vitamins and minerals. Both are in there. So.
Is that weed?
No. Of course it is, yeah.
It is.
The fuck do you think it is?
Is it?
Yeah, it definitely is.
It really is?
Of course, yeah. I smoke it all the time. It's good for you. It's like I don't want to take SSRIs. I think pills are bad news, right? So I do that instead.
Is that called ganja?
Not in this goddamn generation, no. Maybe 70 years ago.
Oh.
When Ross was still alive. He was still alive 70 years ago. He's been trying to convince everybody he's 29.
Who?
Ross Patterson? Yeah, exactly. Not 29.
Who's she?
Oh, I don't know.
Never heard of her.
I think speaking of that, somebody photoshopped a bomb the other day with he/him on it because of the non-binary and intersectional airstrikes that President Biden has been launching against Syria. Now, I'm shocked by this. I had no idea that politicians were full of shit.
Really?
Honestly, I guess I've been living under a cave.
So
under a cave, in a cave, or under a rock, but not under a cave because...
How do you live under a cave?
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Definitely...
Are you okay? What is in that? What is in that thing?
You know what? I don't even know. Some guy gave it to me in an alley.
So you think... So what you're telling me is politicians don't tell the truth?
Correct. Yeah, they're all full of shit is what I'm saying. But luckily, Will Smith is mulling getting into politics. So that's great. And I'm actually glad what The Rock did. The Rock was talking about getting into politics, but instead he made a sitcom about what if he did get into politics called The Young Rock, and it's really fucking funny. You got to watch the show. Our buddy Adam Ray plays Vince McMahon in the show. He debuted, I think, last night. His character debuted last night. It's really funny. That's better. Will Smith, make a movie about getting involved in politics, but don't actually do it.
Yeah.
Because I like you right now, and I don't want to not like you, right? Anytime anybody asks me whether or not they should get involved in politics, I'm like, no. Because if so, I'm going to start tearing your ass out of your body every single day.
Oh,
because you'll become a piece of shit immediately.
So, I wouldn't.
Sure you would. You have to. Well, you wouldn't last, right?
Yeah.
Because
I never do.
This is not the conversation we were supposed to be having.
No, I'm saying in politics. Gosh.
No, I know what you meant. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in America and the world, and I'm kind of curious. Raycon discount code for Drinking Bros. It's buyraycon.com/Drinking Bros. Pete. And their new headphones are the mic on them. The only issue I ever had with Raycon is that the mic on their old ones, it wasn't that it was bad. It was just recessed into the ear, so it's just physics, right? Now they have one that hangs out and way less than their competitors, and they're really good now. So there you go. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It seems like we'll touch on this later in the show, but there's so much cognitive dissonance and hypocrisy. I've been talking to some of my lefty friends over the past 2 weeks, and some of the stuff they're saying to me it's making me feel like I'm insane.
Like what?
They're saying things like, "Can you believe?" Like they're talking about Biden punting on stimulus checks and the fact that not only are the child migrant detention facilities, which were cages under Trump, but now they're holding whatever humanitarian holding cells or whatever stupid shit they're calling them under Biden. They can't believe that they're still open and that they actually made more of them. They can't believe that Gitmo is off the table now. They can't believe that Syria is getting bombed. And I'm like, really? They're like, can you believe this? I mean, can you believe? I'm like, yeah, I've been talking about it for a fucking year. Did you not listen to anything I said, asshole? Oh, man, I mean, I just can't believe it. Like, oh, shit, politician lied to you.
Wow.
That's the book on leftist politicians over the last 40 or 50 years, they promise you whatever the fuck, right? Welfare, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that.
The Marine Corps, we call that, they promise you a rose garden.
Yeah, and then they hand you a bag full of poo, right?
Yeah.
And or make you go turn rocks over outside. I mean, it's absolute nonsense. And it's very typical of any kind of predatory organization. Governments do this to labor unions all the time. So this isn't a judgment on the efficacy, particularly not of modern labor unions, because I think they've seriously lost their way. But what governments, local municipalities and then state governments typically do is say, hey, we are having a budget crisis. We need you guys to take less pay. So because of that, we're going to hook you up with better benefits and better pensions. And people are like, all right, fine, we'll do that because we care about the state. We want to have the pensions are more important, or the benefits are more important anyways, blah, blah, blah. And then when it comes time to pay for the benefits and pay for the pensions, the government takes that shit away too. Right? It's a bait and switch, and it's happened for years now. It's why that whole Act 10 shit back in Wisconsin in 2010 through 2012, or 2011 through 2012 was such a huge deal, because the Citizens United stuff and the Koch brothers interference. I mean, these guys are oil tycoons that are writing model legislation, right? They're having their attorneys write legislation that's beneficial to them, and then they hand it off to Congress and Senate, people, their friends in the Congress and the Senate, and they pay them through lobbyists to get that shit passed. That's not democracy, right? It's not a representative republic. So I find it really interesting that when billionaires are fucking over workers, closing down businesses, the conservatives are just fine with that. And then when billionaires are censoring conservatives and boxing out people with divergent viewpoints, liberals are fine with that. It's the same thing with the government. Liberals get pissed off when the government wants to interfere with women's right to choose. Conservatives get pissed off when the government wants to get involved in whether or not you can own a gun. Everybody hates the same fucking shit for different reasons. So what are we doing here? It doesn't make any sense to me. If you and I hated somebody but for different reasons, you and I are not going to fight in real life. Like if we both hated Giorgio, for example.
Yeah.
I hate him because he's got his socks pulled up over his jean pants there. You hate him because
he got out of bed before I got in with him.
Yeah. You hate him because he got out of bed before you got in with him.
Yeah.
We can both sit here and talk about why we hate him, but that turning into a fight between us would probably never happen. It doesn't work that way. But for some reason in politics, it does. And I don't understand it. And I guess I do understand it. It's because of tribalism. We've been told by the media that I have to be because of these three things. I believe. I guess I'm a conservative because of these three things. They believe they're a liberal, and that's my enemy.
But I think you're missing like what the measurables of success are to the politicians now, and it's how well they're known. It's the last soundbite they got. So
there's no substance at all. Yeah.
No. There's no substance to it. Like, I mean, how many people go and look at their voting record and see where they voted, which way on this and that? It's literally they want to go off of the last thing that somebody said, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the measurable of success inside of whoever's in the news cycle.
Right.
Is the measurable of success and power.
Right. Well, that's why.
And that's why they're all doing this.
Yeah, that's why that book by Tim Wu, W.U., The Master Switch, is so important, because they talk about if you sit at the intersection of information and the distribution of information, you can make people believe anything you want, right? If you're CNN, if you're Warner Media, right, you own AT&T, you own all this other shit, you can make a very large percent of the country believe whatever you want just by putting out that information and not putting out the counter to that information, right? Like if all you ever heard, it's just like a kid that's this is probably something near and dear to your heart. It's a child of divorce being told when they're at their other parents' house how shitty dad is or how shitty mom is, and then they show up and they start to actually believe it because they're getting gaslit by a fucking pissed off parent.
So listen, I've always said this.
You don't talk negatively
no
about the other parent in front of your child. I don't give a shit what the parent does.
I don't even talk to the other parent on the phone in front of my kids. So I think that the way the system's set up is that, the president is kind of like grandpa in the family. the American people are kind of like the kids of America, and then the Democrats are the mother of America, and the Republicans are the father of America, and you've just got one big dysfunctional fucking family right now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's going on, right? It's exactly what you said. Like, imagine if you know, and it's whoever wants to give the microphone. And then what happens is the person holding the microphone is paid not off of truth and not off held accountable. Like, their measurable of success in the media is not off of truth and accuracy.
Right.
It's based off of likes, emotions, hits, and views.
Yep.
Right? So if you look at all these actionables here and these measurables of what success is and what matters, it's a whole list of going back to the country's priorities are all fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, it's so a good example of that is there have to be standards and measurable pieces of data for us to analyze and decide whether or not someone is doing their job well or not, right? So a good example of this, and a very nuanced example, is Ronald Reagan's presidency. So the national debt tripled under Ronald Reagan. He also raised taxes 5 out of the 8 years, 13 times they raised taxes. However, the spending during that period of government is what eventually, it's called rollback, right? And it's what eventually broke the back of the Soviet Union. So yeah, that is not a conservative thing to do, to triple the national debt, to increase spending, to increase taxes, and blah, blah, blah. However, it did break the back of the Soviet Union and ended the Cold War and led to a lot of prosperity. When people say Reaganomics, it wasn't Reagan's economic policies that led to a booming 90s. It was the fact that we weren't competing with Russia anymore.
Yeah.
That's what led to it. So, yeah, he wasn't a conservative president, right? He wasn't. I think he did what he thought was right at the time. And look, the results speak for themselves, frankly. I don't like Reagan, but what he did there, it 100% led to the Soviet Union going away. And that is a very nuanced thing. There are measurables in there. Yes, he is not a conservative by any measure. Like his actions as president were not, none of them were conservative. Started micro wars all over the place.
But he was hated while he was here.
Yeah.
I mean, he
by the left, although they got along pretty well. I mean, Tip O'Neill kept them pretty well.
Yeah, but you know damn well that he became way more liked
after the fact. It's like any artist.
He's kind of like a fine wine.
Yeah, or artist. They're usually not liked or appreciated in their own time, but that's a good example. Now, there's another modern example, something that came up this week. Texas is going to be completely open, at least from the perspective of the governor, by Wednesday of next week. So 1 week from today. And you can feel however you want to feel about that. My position is, if you think it's too soon, fucking stay home. Don't open your business. Stay home, all right? Fucking opt out. The NBA did it. Major League Baseball did it. The NFL did it. If you don't want to play, then stay the fuck home.
So,
and those will be the people that the stimulus check might go to if that comes to fruition. But otherwise, go to fucking work and do your job.
I mean, I have to think that, yeah, COVID came out and happened under Trump. Mm-hmm. And let's just hypothetically speak that, and let's just role play here with me. I know we do that a lot.
Mm-hmm. I'm not dressed up, but
let's say that you know, he didn't handle it right.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that Trump should get credit, though. That, I mean, he pretty much got rid of the flu.
Yeah.
I mean, right? I mean, can anybody disagree with that? Like, I mean, do you not think that? I mean, let's give him at least a little bit of credit.
That's the problem with setting measurable standards, right? It's that they have to be accurate, and you can't make them such that they can be taken advantage of by bad actors. So a bad actor might say that.
So what's more dangerous?
Poverty is more dangerous.
I know. Here we go.
Poverty is more dangerous, and reliance on the government is more dangerous than anything COVID could ever do to us.
Of course, but I'm asking you. So in just terms of talking about truth and lies, because I have this big opinion on this, but what is worse? Talking about what someone did great, leaving out all the bad shit that they did, or talking or lying about what you've done.
I don't know if either one is worse, to be honest, because they're both dishonest and they're both misrepresent the truth. I know dishonest and misrepresent the truth sound the same, but it's not. Being dishonest is one thing, but misrepresenting the truth is, to me, being dishonest is saying something that is
I don't know,
factually incorrect. Misrepresenting the truth is sprinkling little bits of truth in and you're marketing that as the truth.
So now, I think the first is worse.
Why?
Because if you research and you look and if you have something that they've done great that's credible,
mm-hmm.
and you fail to bring up the negative shit,
right?
You've already gave them credibility. They already have credibility versus a lie that you're always trying. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I mean, and so I think that's what happens with like a lot of these. They're always like, I feel like all these politicians, they're always on. They're represented by their last phrase in the media, right? Like if Nancy Pelosi does this, well, she's this. Or if Adam Kinzinger says this, he's a piece of shit. But it's like it's always off their last soundbite that was in the media, whether it was good or bad, and that's how they're viewed.
Right.
It's kind of crazy how the media controls.
Oh yeah,
all of it.
It's the master.
Media is like
they have the master switch.
It's like the ultimate political part. It's like the ultimate
propaganda,
the ultimate
arm,
marketing company for politics.
Well, it's always been like that. I mean, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, I believe, but. The Associated Press are the reason that Hayes was ever president. He lost that election, and
how do you?
They just I encourage you to go read how Hayes became president and the Associated Press's role in it. It is a very interesting story. Well, I don't know. Get somebody to read it out loud for you. Mandy can probably do it.
Giorgio, will you read out loud for me?
Nobody here can fucking read. Are you kidding me? So I agree with you to some degree, but you have to contextualize that with the fact that everybody makes these mistakes, right? Everybody makes some mistake. So
for sure.
I think if your first instinct is to call out all the bad shit somebody did every time they do something good, then we're going to lose sight of what's good. We shouldn't even worry about the person saying it. That is irrelevant. The human being whose mouth the information is coming out of, aside from understanding their perspective so you can understand why they may have come to that conclusion, like show your work on a math problem, basically. Other than that, the information is what's important. Idea meritocracy. The best idea wins. It's not about the best party. It's not about the most charismatic speaker. It can't be. I mean, obviously it is, but it can't be like that anymore because we're fucked now. And that's the thing with the media. This master switch thing. If you watch CNN and Fox only, like let's say you're trying to get a good sense of what's actually going on in the country and you subscribe to those two networks, you're going to think that all Republicans are crazy and all Democrats are crazy, right? If you're a centrist. But it's just not true. Most people just want to be left the fuck alone, right?
Yeah, like me.
Yes. Most people want to be left alone. The problem is we've come to know these people as the silent majority. You cannot be silent anymore. You have to wake the fuck up and start taking part in your... If you want... It's like you're letting the children run the fucking daycare right now. You know what I mean? You're having you're trying to make dinner and you're letting your toddlers do it and they're fucking it up. Obviously, you're going to go over there and move them out of the way and make the dinner yourself so everybody can eat tonight and don't burn the fucking house down. Right now, our house is burning down. Our house being America. I think we need these measurable standards by which the actions of people and not the people themselves are judged. So when Abbott tweeted yesterday that he's opening everything up next Wednesday, Gavin Newsom in California said he retweeted it and just said absolutely reckless. Now this man has ruined the California economy.
Yeah,
he's ruined it. No one is fleeing Texas or Florida to go to California. Literally, no one is doing that, and there's a reason for it. If you look at the data of how when COVID cases were starting to spike and then he fucking opened shit back up because it was politically advantageous for him, when he told everybody to stay home and he went to the French Laundry and blah, blah, blah. There's a million examples with this guy. Newsom is a piece of shit, right?
Piece of shit.
He just doesn't care about people. It's all about politics for him. He is fucking Kamala Harris 2.0.
Yeah.
Like seriously came basically from the same lineage as she did. And they've tried hard and now they won't be able to because he's fucked himself up so much to make him the next big great white hope or whatever the fuck they think. So there are measurable standards here. You can see how Texas' economy is better and Florida's economy is better, right? Nobody's fleeing those two states, and the numbers are the same. Like their COVID numbers, despite all the shutdowns in California, are relatively similar. Texas had a spike earlier in the season, right? And a lot of doctors that I've been listening to lately said that Texas being open and Florida being open and having their spikes during the off season, not during flu season, was better because it did not. The real problem we have, this whole flatten the curve thing wasn't about saving lives necessarily. It was about not overwhelming hospitals. That's what it's supposed to be about, and that's what all the shutdowns are supposed to be about.
It's eventually going to get there no matter what.
Correct. Everybody is going to get COVID at some point, unless you're immune to it for some reason. So
George is immune to it.
The fact that he might be, he's like a cockroach.
Yes. He is definitely a cockroach.
The fact that they did it early, and look, maybe if California had been open then, they would have had a bigger spike in the summertime, right? But they would not have had these holiday spikes that completely overwhelmed their shit. So there is a method to this madness. There's a wrong and a right answer. Yeah. And the wrong answer is to take people's ability to make decisions for themselves away. Always. I don't care what the consequences are. It doesn't matter because this country is about liberty. If you don't like, you have every right to stay home. You have every right to stay home.
Yeah.
You have every right, if you're a nurse, to go the fucking somewhere else if you don't like it here. If you don't like the fact that this place is about to open back up and you're on fucking Twitter and
peace
fucking
out, Girl
else,
Scout.
Get the fuck out. Sorry. I mean, this is America, goddammit. You don't get to fucking interfere with other people's lives because of how you feel about something. Yeah. That's not how it's supposed to work. But clearly that is how it works. Because it is happening on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think this whole mask thing's bullshit anyways, to be honest. I
don't mind the mask stuff.
I think if you want to wear it, you should be able to wear it, but I don't think it should be mandated that everybody has to fucking wear it. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
No, I mean, why would you... To be frank, the mask is to protect you from me. I wear the mask so I don't spit in your face. Now, there's a good study that came out 2 weeks ago. People that wear glasses are 75% less likely, right, to get COVID in public places than anybody else, because mostly what is happening is projectile spit from the mouth is going into the eyes, or they're touching stuff in public and then touching their eyes. Yep. That means that you are in control. If you don't want to get my COVID, whether I'm wearing a mask or not, wear a fucking face shield, fucking don't touch stuff and then touch your face. Individual responsibility, motherfucker. At what point did that just go off the table? What point did we decide that I'm responsible for everybody else, even to my own detriment?
Dude, could you imagine?
Like, I have to shut down my fucking business because you can't figure out your shit?
Could you imagine if they came out and said no more fast food, no more alcohol, no more unhealthy food because everybody's getting fat and people are dying of heart attacks?
They said this. So I've had this debate for years when the tobacco tax is in New York and then the fucking soda tax in New York as well. And this fucking liberal piece of fucking shit that I know. I mean, he's a piece of shit. Not as a man, like he seems like a decent man, but the way he thinks about stuff is maddening to me. Like you're a cuck. You're a subservient little bitch. You think the government's here to protect you. No, the government is here to fucking protect the border. You are here to protect yourself and your family. Yeah. Imagine a fucking caveman. We should really do a parody sketch of this. It's a caveman sitting around complaining that the caveman council isn't protecting his cave or some shit like that. Like, dude, you better pick up a stick and start bashing shit.
No shit,
motherfucker. Anyways, like this idea, I was on Clubhouse last night with
You're in a Clubhouse?
No, on the app Clubhouse.
What's that?
Talking to some people, mostly reasonable people. There's one.
What's Clubhouse?
One kid. It's an app. It doesn't matter. There's one kid that is. He works in Democratic politics in Texas, and he goes, "I mean, tell me what's really so bad about Gavin Newsom. Like, you're out of your fucking mind." All right, but here we'll go through the paces. And my buddy Matt Belinsky went down an entire list of everything that he's fucked up, and the guy's like, "So you just don't like him then?" I'm like, "What the fuck did you hear? You didn't hear what he said?" Yeah. But he said he started like to make a point where it was, if the government is going to allow these businesses to stay open. I'm like, let me stop you right there, motherfucker. The government listen to what you're saying. The government allow my business to stay open. The government can suck my fucking dick.
Isn't it crazy how like people like when they don't want to do like it's like they pick and choose. They don't understand that like it's either in or out. Right? It's like well, the government should make sure the roads are good or the government should do this. But then like if it does something they don't like, well the government can't tell me what to do.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So the government can't tell me what to do comes up on both sides of the aisle all the time.
All the time.
The government can't tell me what to do with my body.
This is an overreach of government.
The government can't tell me what to do with my body. The government can't attack a foreign country. The government can't take my guns away. It happens from both sides. This is the point I'm always trying to make to people. We all hate the government. We hate this overreach of the government. The government's job is to be a brake in case of emergency, fire extinguisher. They're supposed to make sure that we have access to water, medicine, and blah, blah, blah to make sure that national borders are secure. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and get out of the way.
Yeah, but people like the government when it's convenient.
Of course.
It's convenience factor, right?
I mean, we're basically in a fucking abusive relationship.
Listen, we got first world problems.
This is not a first world problem though, because you can't think of it that way.
We're a bunch of spoiled fucking brats.
This is another thing that the guy was talking about last night. He was talking about how, his complaint about Newsom was that they didn't have a plan to pay the people that they were shutting down their businesses. And I'm like, I understand from an empathy standpoint what you're saying feels right to you, but we've read this book before, motherfucker. When the government starts to shut down private business and then they supplant that fucking income with income from the government, that's not the government's money. It's taxpayer money. That is redistribution of wealth. That is socialism. That's what it is. And he's like, oh, no, we're so far away from socialism in this country. How close do we need to get?
Yeah.
Like we build the fucking bridge to it. And then what? People to start going across. That's how bridges fucking work, dude.
We dabble in it.
It is absolutely asinine to think that the government will receive some kind of power or authority and give it up willingly without us taking it back by fucking force, because we've had to do that before, right? So the ideology of these people is insane to me. Now, I spent the majority of the 2010s, the late 2000s and the early 2010s, I guess, or mid-2000s, up to the mid-2010s, lighting conservatives on fucking fire. George Bush and Dick Cheney were both human garbage. They fucked this country up so badly, took us into a war just so Dick Cheney's buddies could get paid. It had nothing to do with national or fucking global security. It was bullshit. It was all bullshit. Then when Obama got elected, the first thing they did, like Mitch McConnell's first statement after the inauguration was, our goal for this term in Congress is to make sure that fucking Obama's a one-term president. That's your goal? Not to make the country better. And then they voted 44 times to overturn, without the votes to get it done, by the way, to overturn the Affordable Care Act and without any plan to back that up, right? I lit them on fire that whole time, and I was considered a liberal. Oh, you're a fucking lefty liberal, man. You really changed. No, I just have integrity. Now I'm a fucking conservative because the left is trying to cancel everybody, trying to burn fucking books and promising people these insane fucking welfare state things in exchange for the vote. I mean, this is the classic fucking problem with electoral politics, and it's going to keep going because people are fucking dumb, honestly.
People are dumb. But
driving me crazy.
But Dan, you know it's not dumb?
Cartamax. Cartamax is not dumb.
Cartamax is definitely not dumb.
It's so, oh my goodness. You know Sean Madsen.
Yeah.
You know he's trying to fucking break the world record for a mile run in a bomb suit. I don't understand why people do these things. I was hanging out with Rob O'Neill this weekend. Forgot to get him to sign your book, by the way. Sorry about that.
But it's also his book too.
I know. You're the royal you're. So he is talking about how he will never run ever again. I'm like, yeah, me either. What the fuck are you running from? This guy just loves to run. Anyways, if you're looking for energy, they get the energy intensifier and the immune booster. I like both, but you can't mix them together, unfortunately, because it's too strong. This is the least amount of ingredients possible. This is, Sean, he's like a crazy person.
Yeah.
He's like some kind of weird ass engineer in his own head. The energy intensifier is comes in blue raspberry and pink lemonade. and it has caffeine and BCAAs, which are branch chain amino acids. If you don't know, they're good for you. A lot of energy out of those, as good as anything I can tell you, to be honest. And then the immune booster is formulated with herbs, natural herbs, to help your body resist stressors of all time. It helps keep like cortisol levels low, which is a stress thing, and it helps your immune system. They have watermelon orange with orange with ginseng, and then some word I can't pronounce. Shisandra, I don't know what that word is. This is you all know Sean Matson. We've worked with him for a very long time. You know his energy drinks. You know how good he is at this stuff. He is a drinking bro. You see him posting our shit all the time. He's one of my favorite people on earth. He's definitely better than you.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Well, you guys can fight. Right now, Cardimax is offering American Party an exclusive offer: buy one get one free. So BOGO on your first order. Go to cardimax.com and use the promo code American. That's CARDOMAX.com, and use the promo code American, and you'll get buy one get one free in your first order. I love this stuff. I like having, so if you're traveling, especially, you can't. It's not like you can put a bunch of cans of Red Bull in your pocket or anything like that. Those little packets, you just throw it in whatever, booze, water, whatever. Mostly booze for me. It's convenient. I'm lazy. I'm lazy, so convenience matters. And next is Ghost Bed.
Oh,
and we all know about this.
We all know about Ghost Beds.
I mean, that's what Giorgio. Why do you pluralize words that don't you? Ghost Bed.
I want more than one bed. It's Ghost Beds. I want people to buy more than one bed.
Are you putting
Ghost Bed would be on with me.
Do you put the beds next to each other, or one bed you're sleeping on and the other one's on top of you?
Listen, I change it up.
Yeah.
You know.
Who puts it on top of you, though?
Come on. Really, we're going to do this on the show? You do.
I just wanted credit.
You did.
I like the credit. Ghost Bed's got the
what are they doing? 30% off right now, or 40%?
The President's Day sale is still going on, so it's
40% off on all bundles.
On the bundles. Yeah. Yep. So
they've got the Luxe, which is the cooling bed.
Yeah, that's the one we have.
That's the one that we have.
Love it.
I love it. They also have the cooling pillows, pillow covers, which is they are amazing, especially for a big fat guy like me. Sweating, and you hate when I sweat.
Yeah, it just ruins my whole day.
It does. But yeah, so they have that, and then they have 0% down. 36 month financing?
36 month pay as you go.
Pay as you go. No
interest.
No interest.
Which is pretty wild.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And here's the craziest thing, and what I love about Ghost Beds, outside of how good they feel to sleep in, is, dude, you can send them back after 20 years.
Yeah, I've got a clock on mine. At 19 years, 6 months, I'm like, hey, Ghost Bed's worn out. You might give me a new one? I'll probably be dead by then. But
20 years?
My family will.
Oh, you'll be dead by then.
Yeah, my family will be able to turn in the Ghost. Well, I don't know. Yeah. I guess they probably won't know. I'll have to write them in my will. I have to, P.S., make sure you turn that Ghost Bed in here at this state.
You should make me your executor.
Oh, man. I should. Actually, I want a board of executors. I want you and Jared and then a homeless person. Mm-hmm. To decide. The homeless person, you'll be like, let's do something with this, and Jared will be like, let's build a dirt bike track, and the homeless person will be like, please feed me, whatever, man.
Honestly, the only thing I would like to request to do if you die is I would like to keep your body in my freezer for a week. I've always wanted to do that. You know what I mean? Just because I think it'd be kind of funny.
Ghostbed.com/Drinker Bros, by the way.
Yeah,
you all know the
Ghostbed.com/Drinker Bros. I just think it would be kind of funny, you guys can give me a way in over here. You imagine y'all coming over for steaks, and we're talking about Dan, and we're like, y'all want to get some steaks? Yeah, I'm gonna get some out of the freezer. And we walk in there, and Dan's like this, crumbled up in there, and I just pull a steak off of his head.
What if it was just my head on a plate, though? Do you need my whole body?
No, I want your whole body in there. I want you curled up like a fetus.
I think it would be horrifying for people to see that.
I think that would be naked.
Is it like a hyperbolic chamber that T.O. used to stay in, or
hyperbaric?
No. I just want I'm seriously
hyperbolic.
I'm seriously talking about
that is hyperbole.
One of those freezers, the freezers that you put in there.
Like a deep freezer?
Like a deep freezer. I'm seriously, I just want to put you in a deep freezer.
So I'm on one side, curled up in the fetal position.
No, you're in the bottom of it, curled up like this, so you fit in it.
And you tell people to go get those steaks, but they're all the way you have to reach through the other stuff.
I'd put hot dogs on you and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. We can do that.
What do you think, Giorgio? Oh, here we go. Anyways,
This asshole.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Keeps. Let's see. 2 out of 3 men, 67%, will experience some form of hair loss by the time they're 35 years old. That's pretty young, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about male pattern baldness, and more than 50 million men in the country right now suffer with male pattern baldness. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that prevent hair loss. Prevent, not treat. Prevent. That's a big key. That's a key word here.
Do you think I'm going bald?
No. Yes, but back here.
You do?
That's where all men start going bald. Almost all men start getting hair loss back there. Like literally 67% of dudes.
Do I look bald?
Not yet, but you're not 35 yet, right? Now's the time to start taking this shit. So
Gotcha.
there are only 2 FDA-approved medications to prevent hair loss, and Keeps offers both of them. It's a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. You don't have to do the whole in-person doctor visit. We know nobody has time for that nonsense. You get medication delivered to your door every 3 months. You never have to leave your home. Low-cost treatments start as low as $10 per month, and they offer all the generic versions, so that's how they keep the shit low. Discreet packaging. It's got more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors, and it takes 4 to 6 months to see the results. This is the thing. This is a commitment that you need to make.
Yeah.
So you need to, if you want to treat this, now's the time to do it. You have to start immediately. So if you're ready to take action to prevent hair loss, go to Keeps, KEEPS.com/American to receive your first month of treatment free. That's Keeps.com, KEEPS.com/American to get your first month free. Keeps.com/American. Good stuff.
America.
I like the absolute insane hypocrisy that I'm seeing these days. Man, after that Syria bombing, the memes were pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I enjoy the memes anytime something like that happens. But what I don't enjoy is the incredulity that I'm hearing from my lefty friends, to be honest, like pretending like they didn't see this shit coming. Either means that they're not smart enough to be involved in politics or involved in voting at all, or they're just like lying to me.
Well, so tell me this. So tell me what happens now. So you're Biden. You bomb Syria.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Syria with Iran-backed militia, right? You have a contractor, U.S. contractor, killed yesterday.
Yeah, at an Iraqi base.
In Iraq and Al-Assad.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do now? What is Biden's next move?
I have no idea, to be honest. He hasn't even said anything about it. No, he won't. He hasn't said anything about anything because they won't let him on stage. Because every time he's been on stage, 3 times or so since he's been inaugurated, and every time he's bumbling around. One time he actually said out loud, "What am I doing here?" He has vascular dementia, and he's the president of the United States. There's a reason why Congress, 33 liberal Congress people, decided that they wanted to take the nuclear power away from him. And it's not because they like him. It's not because they trust him. It's the opposite of those things. That's a problem. I'm also curious to hear what Crenshaw has to say about the Syria bombing, because he loved it when Trump did it. He told everybody to shut the fuck up, and he invoked veterans like, me and my friends know how dangerous this all is. You're a fucking liar, Dan. You're a fucking liar. You're a goddamn liar, and it's offensive to me that you would use the memory of our dead friends to champion this fucking war where we're supporting fucking ISIS and Al-Qaeda against the Syrian government. That is what's happening there. And we're building, you can think of them as the Mujahideen in the 1970s and 80s, right? We're building the new Al-Qaeda right now by supporting these motherfuckers and giving them weapons and money and training.
What do you do, though? Then
you don't do anything. You fucking leave. Fuck these people. If they want to fight all the time for the rest of their lives, then fucking let them. There's something to be said about allowing nature to take its course. Now, I don't want to be crass or unempathetic or any of that stuff. Okay, but hear
me out.
Wait, I don't want to do any of that stuff. I don't want to fucking sit around while people get hurt. But if people aren't willing to fight for themselves and they can't muster the strength to fight off an oppressive government, then they're not going to make it.
Yeah, but hear me out.
This is not how it works.
But hear me out, okay? So let's say in a huge forest, you have a bunch of little forest fires.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather just come in and put out one forest fire a day, like that, the small ones strategically, the ones that could spread, let the ones that don't burn out? Or would you rather wait till the whole fucking forest is on fire and then have to go try to fucking do that before it takes off?
I prefer to mind my business.
But I mean, it's going to eventually affect us.
If Syria starts invading other countries that we're allies with, then we can go do something.
I don't have
but if Syria is brutalizing its own people, that is its own people's job to fight back.
So I don't have a problem.
Like, who the fuck is coming to America's defense if our government turns oppressive on us? The answer is nobody, Dakota.
But hold on.
0 people. 0 countries. Nothing.
But hold on. Look, I'm not for war. I'm not for. Look, I'm about holding people accountable. I'm not about getting into shitty wars like Iraq or Afghanistan. But here's what I will say is, I don't have such a problem with us killing bad guys across the globe, because I do feel like, as the superpower of the globe, that it is part of our responsibility. Now, here's my big problem, though. It's kind of like with North Korea. It's kind of like with, you take Syria. Who is a superpower that's closer to them than we are?
We're the only superpower.
Yeah, but okay. Who's right behind us?
China.
Okay. Why?
China's not going to do anything. They don't care about human rights.
Well, so then at what point? At what point do we become a China when we stop caring about human rights?
We care about our human rights, right? We can't even feed our people, Dakota. We can't keep our people in housing. We can't get our people medicine because the Republicans think that private industry, by the way, the private industry that butt fucks them every chance they get, right? Just look at the stock market shit lately. You want to trust private industry? You fucking kidding me? And then the left is like, whoa, we got to have the government do it. Look at what the government is doing now. None of these answers are viable.
I'm with you.
So we can't even get our own shit figured out. We cannot. If you try to go help somebody else, there's a rule on the goddamn airplane. You put your mask on first. You put your oxygen on first, and then you can help other people. Mm-hmm. We have not put our fucking oxygen mask on in this country. We are fucked, and our country's going downhill.
I mean, listen,
rapidly.
We're over here focusing on but here's what I want to differentiate: is we're over here. Our problems right now are how many different genders are there?
Yeah.
These are our types of problems versus, our government making us wear a mask, right?
Right.
That's our type of problems. You got countries over there that they got to worry about their government fucking gassing them.
Right.
Right. I mean, so I do think that it is part of our responsibility as the beacon of hope of the world. I mean, look, you got to admit, America is the leader of the free world. America is the trendsetter.
What are we leading? Listen, we don't lead the world in shit. We lead the world in the most prisoners per capita, and most of them are black,
but I'm not getting into that. I'm talking about
we don't lead the world in math or science
across
or
the globe
or human rights. Even we have of developed nations. We have one of the highest infant mortality
I'll leave
rates.
it this: there's more people trying to leave their country to move to America than there is of Americans trying to move to other people's fucking country.
Are you sure about that?
Let's show me the stats.
I mean, I know there are a lot
of.
Sure? There are quite a few Americans that leave America to get medical coverage. Quite a few,
dude.
Heart surgeries and things like that. People are going to India.
Just
people are going
what crosses the border yearly in Mexico.
Yeah, that's. You're comparing a good scenario to the worst possible scenario, right?
But I'm just telling you, there are we must be doing something right. I don't see Canada trying to put a fucking a fence up for us. I don't see Mexico trying to put a fence up to keep Americans from crossing the border.
No.
We have to be doing something right for people who want to come here.
We're doing plenty right, for sure.
But
it's not your decision to go tell somebody else how to live their life. If we believe in this idea of liberty,
it's
right?
not. But
liberty is its own self-defense. It has to be. Now we can join. America doesn't exist without involvement from the Spanish first and then the French, right? Like, we don't exist.
True.
General Lafayette and the Frenchmen he brought over, particularly the Navy, right, was huge in the American Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question about that. If there is an ongoing fight of good men trying to stop bad men, I'm in. But if it's ISIS and Al-Qaeda, I'm not. Fuck that shit. And fuck these people, man. They have blown up too many of our fucking friends at this point, right? For us to go say, hey, you know what, bygones, bygones. We don't like Syria, so the enemy is my friend. All of you motherfuckers are my enemy. Fuck these people.
So I'm with you. I'm with you, but you still just can't. You can't just like you got in Africa right now. You got 300 and some girls that just got kidnapped overnight.
Yeah, Happens all the time with RUF and a bunch of other organizations.
So do we
over there.
just sit back and say fuck it?
No, that's not even close to the same
So
scenario.
that's my point.
Fighting a war against guerrilla terrorists versus fighting a war against the government, the government of Syria. That is not even close to the same thing.
That was my point.
Yeah.
I'm not about going to another Iraq or Afghanistan. I'm not about that.
I'm not about Syria either, though.
Well, okay, I'm not about going to fight Syria. Like, I'm not about going to fight a war that's not bad enough for us to show up and just fuck everybody up.
Exactly. That has to be
like, I'm in on that.
Like the measure of whether or not it is appropriate to send American soldiers to war has to be that things have gotten so bad.
Yes.
That we're going to let them lose.
That there are no rules of engagement.
There are no rules.
Right.
You just go over there and fuck shit up and get it and reset, right?
Yep.
Because otherwise, you've been in these situations where you have to, and look, there's something to be said for target discrimination for sure. It's something we train on quite a bit, and we don't want to hurt people unnecessarily. That's another big thing.
But it's not black and white.
It's certainly not.
It's not fucking the cops and robbers of like it used to be.
It never is. But when you're dropped into a situation like I was, where you and 400 or 500 other dudes are surrounded by 4 million people in Solder City, and you don't know who's your friend or your enemy, and you're walking around, and now you're expected to make 100% correct decisions all the time. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
that is a bad decision.
But I think it's
we can't fight wars against people that aren't in uniform.
But I think what happened is, I think here's what's fucked up is, and I don't blame the politics for putting these policies in place for how we fought our wars. I blame our fucking generals for being weak pussies.
Yeah, they're pieces of shit.
And here's why I tell you, I think it's great for the politics to say, hey, look, I want to send the best men I got over there, and I don't want to have one. The goal should be to not have one innocent death.
Right.
Right.
But the first goal has got to be, I don't want to have any casualties on my side.
100%. But the generals have got to be like, okay, that's a great goal. We should always you aim small, shoot small, right?
Yep.
Or aim small, miss small.
Yeah.
So aim small, miss small. Dude, if we come in and we ask, if you take in my situation, you literally take. I will give you a direct quote, and what the rules of engagement were that literally made me a Medal of Honor recipient. There was a rule of engagement that was put in place that stated you could not drop ordnance within, I don't know the exact distance of a house of a village.
Right, it's probably 600 meters, something like that.
You couldn't drop any ordnance within a certain distance of a village. Now, you ready for this?
Half a mile.
Unless you had gone through and made sure that the only people inside the village were terrorists, no civilians were there.
And what would be the point of the airstrike at that point?
I don't fucking know. How do you? Hey, hold on. Wait a second.
Rules like that
are good guy or bad guy?
Rules like that are why people don't follow rules.
Right.
To be honest. But yeah, that is a very problematic situation to put somebody in, and it's an unreasonable expectation to expect them to follow those rules at their own peril.
Yeah.
Like if you're
suggestions. They should be suggestions, but they shouldn't be exact.
And I'll make this analogy because it's the same thing going on with Biden and these nuclear code or the nuclear football right now. If these soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen are not competent to make that decision, then they don't belong in the fucking uniform
100%.
in the first place. Get them out. And if Joe Biden isn't competent enough to not just randomly nuke shit, get him the fuck out.
100%.
I mean, what the fuck are we doing here? Why are we having to set up?
Why are we dropping the standards? I'll tell you right now.
There should be safeguards for if somebody does turn bad, and that's what the 25th Amendment is, and that's what kicking somebody the fuck out of the military is.
I'll tell you right now.
Those schema exist.
I'll tell you right now that if Clinton, Bush, Obama, or Trump, if they had ever lost the confidence or felt the need to make a recommendation to take away the nuclear football from any of them, bro, they would have been out in a heartbeat.
Well, we saw what happened with Trump. That was political.
It was.
There's 13 days left before the inauguration. Like, oh, he's probably going to nuke somebody, man. We got to get him out. Like, shut the fuck up, Adam Kinzinger, you little cunt. Jesus Christ, what a piece of shit that guy is. Anyways, if the person is not competent to do the job, there are a schema in place to get them the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not,
you can't set the rules for pieces of shit.
If you're not competent enough to be trusted with something that has been used one time in history?
Well, twice.
Twice.
Technically.
Well, okay. They're pretty close together, so I'm just talking about one instance. Then you need to be the fuck out, right? I mean, what else? If you can't trust him with that, then what?
I don't, and maybe it's not even about trust. There's a good chance that it is leftists in the Democratic Party that just want to strip that power away from the presidency anyways. And look, it's not about taking power away from the executive branch. It's about getting more power for themselves. They didn't say we should have a national vote to decide if nuclear force is authorized. No, Congress should be able to decide that.
Look, I don't know. Like,
they want to take more power for themselves. And we know what we know most about government and about people is that anytime somebody is given power, whether it's an individual or the government, they will not give it up unless you fucking take it away from them.
Here's what I got to say. If I can't trust a guy, if I can't trust a human being.
To not fucking wipe out an entire country.
To not wipe out an entire country.
Yeah.
To not drop literally a nuclear fucking bomb.
Yeah.
Then how can I trust him to do the right thing
with
social issues?
With any situation.
How?
Even just being a good man in general.
Yeah.
That person is a psychopath and does not belong in any position of power. Now,
but I go back to my point. Back to my point. We don't have to agree on this, and we're not going to.
No.
I truly believe that America is the beacon of light for the fucking world. I truly, because here's the thing. It's kind of like with the COVID vaccine. It's kind of like with these. These are two of the basis fundamentals of what I see when I see the American flag. I feel like that when we walk into countries, that American flag should represent trust. It should represent morals. It should represent ethics, and it should give somebody a piece that we're there for the right fucking reasons, right? The government might not be, but the people who are, right?
Well, the government's supposed to be the people. That's our problem, right?
Either way.
Track your logic back to where it's coming from on that.
But what I want to say is that if we get to the point to where we say fuck, we're gonna turn a blind eye to the suffering of other human beings across the globe because they're not from our country or under our flag. We don't deserve to be the superpower of the world.
And we don't. Because of what, basically, if you track what you're saying backwards, we have this. I
don't know, man. These politics didn't go over and fight wars. Me and you did.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Like, we have the empathy.
We do. People that have done war don't want their children to do it. I fucking guarantee you that shit.
100%.
But it's, so tracking back on what you said, the government being the representation of the flag these days is not. That's a fucking joke, and it has been pretty much forever. I mean, I've talked about this.
Yeah, Timmy
recently.
Little. Timmy Little. America is the beacon of light for the world.
There are a lot of other countries, like Sweden is an amazing country as well.
Yeah, but
they do a lot. They do a lot with a much smaller force.
With but as far as the level of competency,
they have
in the size that
soldiers.
We are. We are the beacon of light.
Yeah,
100%.
I would say Sweden, France, not Germany for sure. Germany's a shithole. Germany's fucked in almost every way. But Norway's also pretty good. They do a lot for the international world. At any rate, forget about all that. The American flag was supposed to be a standard. When you see people protesting in Hong Kong, right? They are waving American flags around because that flag to them means liberty.
That's my point.
And when during the French Revolution, right, that we so cowardly sat out of, right, the French who helped us with our revolution, but because of our ties to Britain, George Washington and various others and the federal government turned a blind eye to what was happening in France, let Napoleon, a psychopath, take over and said the actual French Revolution happened. It was going to, be a very good thing for Europe. We fucking sat out like cowards and did nothing. I'm fine with helping them fight those wars. I am not fine with our government deciding that because of financial interests or whatever that we're going to support Al-Qaeda.
But isn't that why we started
Fuck
this?
That.
Isn't that why we started this? To go back to reminding people of what the fundamentals of being good humans are. Yeah. Fuck. Do I trust Democrats or Republicans telling me which war to go fight? No. I fucking argue with John McCain about dumb wars that he wanted to get us in. So so my point is it is the right thing to do, and I'll go back to it. We are the beacon of light, and we need to get on that path and that mindset
Well, when you say we, you mean the idea of what America's supposed to be.
The idea of what America is,
not the
of
present
what
execution.
that flag represents,
Yeah,
right?
not the present execution.
No, I'm not. No, the present execution is fucked up.
Yeah,
We
really
all
bad.
agree on that. It doesn't. I mean, we've got our own people here in America kneeling for the flag. When you've got countries in China who've never set people in China who are protesting, taking a chance of getting killed or whatever else could happen to them.
Yeah.
And waving our flag, and they've never set foot on our soil.
Yeah.
They've never had any benefit of us.
But they understand the idea, right?
They understand the idea, and it's about the idea, the idea of hope, and that's what America is.
But America only is that thing when the government is representative of the people, right? And that's only the case when the government is staffed by the people and not by career politicians and shit like that. So the other day, Rand Paul was celebrating the goddamn amendment to add term limits to the presidency. And then he said, now it's time for Congress. Well, motherfucker, you've been in office for 12 years.
Yeah.
How about you lead by example and get the fuck out?
Yeah.
How about that, Rand, with your dumbass haircut?
Rand is a piece of shit.
I
I
liked his dad. I think his dad and Bernie are good men. I really do. I think that I think they're good human beings. I think they're kooky as shit.
I lost all the fucking respect for Ron Paul when Chris Kyle got killed, and Ron Paul said,
maybe you shouldn't be taking
this is a true example of
people with PTSD to a gun range. Yeah.
No, this is a true example of those who live by the sword die by the sword.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then he said maybe it's not a good idea to take people to gun ranges for PTSD treatment. Like, thanks, Ron. That was really sweet of you.
Yeah. So that was when I lost it for him.
For sure. I think that was a mistake that he said that. But look, he was old and crazy, and he was always crazy. And he was old and crazy. Not to excuse his behavior, but I think what he did in government, I don't think he was malicious. I don't think he was trying to gain power for himself. And I don't think the same for Bernie. I think Bernie's made a lot of mistakes. The minimum wage thing he pulled with his staff, and his ideas are fucking asinine. But I don't think he's a bad man. There are a lot of bad men that are politicians. They only care about power. And not just men, it's men and women. They only care about power. They only care about fucking prestige and ego, and then
he didn't care about that.
Money.
Look, you can't argue that that's not like, and that's why Bernie didn't have a chance.
No, he's done.
Because he doesn't care.
If you're not on your knees sucking somebody's dick, you're not winning shit around here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Bernie, but I mean, I still don't think he has a malicious bone in his body.
No, I don't think so either. And it's to see the hypocrisy that we're seeing right now is. You have to. Here's what I encourage, because I know a lot of you conservatives out there are seeing it and you're fucking pissed off about it. I want you to really pay attention to how you feel right now when you see Dr. Seuss books getting canceled. When just 3 years or a couple years ago, 6 years ago, Michelle Obama was reading Dr. Seuss books to children, and then I think it was 2009 or 10 or 11, one of those years, one of the early years of his presidency, when Obama said himself that you can learn pretty much everything you need to know about being a good person from Dr. Seuss, right? Now all of a sudden it's on the chopping block because people think it's woke and racist, and woke Joe is all in on it. So how you're feeling right now about how hypocritical this is, the next time your party is in power and they start doing the same goddamn shit that the left is doing right now, keep your fucking eyes open, and not just your eyes, open your mouth and say something. Because if you don't hold your own people accountable, no one ever will. And if you're on the left and you're seeing this shit right now, and you're one of those people that are being incredulous, I can't believe this is happening. Man, you better fucking wake up. And now is the time for you to become a leader in your country. Start talking shit about your own people first. Get them in line, right? That's what leaders do. Mm-hmm. Leaders don't blame everybody else. If a fucking football coach is blaming the refs or blaming the other team or blaming this or blaming that, that is not what a leader does. A leader says, you know what, we need to work fucking harder.
Stop being the fucking victim.
We need to work harder. We need to get it right for ourselves, because nobody is coming to save us. You know what I mean?
I do.
The only way we save this fucking country from the downward fucking slide that it's on right now is if both sides of these fucking dumb parties turn inward, look at each other, and say, hey, you know what, we're fucked up here. Let's not do what they do. It only takes one.
It's called taking responsibility.
Yeah, it only takes one. You stop doing it, and then they stop doing it, and then nobody's doing it anymore except for the assholes, and we all make fun of the assholes. That's how it's supposed to work. That's why government was supposed to be a part-time job, right? You're not supposed to be in government for 47 years, Joe.
Yeah.
Like, give me a fucking break. It's time to get the fuck out. Nobody likes you anymore. Speaking of nobody liking people, when's Cuomo going to resign? Like, how much heat is this guy going to take before he just quits?
You know what's kind of crazy is like, You know they had all this
forever.
No, and they just
nobody
held
just
it.
now came out and said this. No,
they didn't just all of a sudden figure this out.
I
the last
definitely,
3 months.
I think there's something to there's this theory that the left wants to hammer him for Me Too shit, so he doesn't get hammered for COVID shit, because a lot of other governors and mayors did it as well, and they don't want to lose a lot of their fucking primetime stars. The mayor of Nashville got caught doing it. Newsom's been caught doing it, and now fucking Cuomo has been caught doing it way worse than anybody else.
Yeah.
They don't want that narrative out there. And maybe it's not even a malicious thing that they don't want the narrative out there. Maybe they're trying to protect the integrity of the science, so people don't just say, well, this is all fake, blah, blah, blah. And then a bunch of people
think he'll
get sick.
resign? You think he'll have to resign?
I hope so.
I do too.
But I don't think he will, no.
No, I agree.
I don't think he will. And the funniest part about me is his brother goes on CNN and says, obviously I know what's going on with my brother. I can't cover it because, he's my brother. Motherfucker, for 2 straight goddamn years.
You've covered everything
You've covered
else.
all the good shit. You fucking coward.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That guy,
Yeah.
he is a Cuomo, CNN's Cuomo.
Yeah, he
is
is
the
a
biggest
fucking
coward
piece
in
of
America,
shit.
and
Yeah.
he should fucking walk into fucking traffic. I hate that guy more than I've ever
He
hated
is
another
garbage.
human being. He is Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know how you can dislike someone more than those 2 brothers. They've got to be the biggest 2 pieces of shit. Imagine being their parents.
Oh,
If their parents are still alive, they must be deeply ashamed of
they
these
have
2
to
men.
be.
God fucking damn it, man. It's unbelievable how big you can just be a piece of shit. And the fact that nobody on CNN is calling them out, motherfucker, if you did some shit like this, not only would I end this show today, I would end it forever, right? And I would expect you to do the same to me, by the way.
for sure.
But
I wouldn't end it. I wouldn't end it. I'd spend 5 more episodes talking shit about you.
I'm not even kidding. You absolutely should. And
Yeah.
if after the show ended, I would spend the other show at least once a week. But like, remember Dakota? He was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Let's not fucking forget that that's what a piece of shit looks like. If I'm an anchor on CNN or anybody in Warner Media at all, Warner Media owns a lot of stuff. They own AT&T, so they own a lot of stuff. I would spend all of my time talking about how those 2 brothers are pieces of shit. Right? Otherwise, you're a coward. Like, oh, I don't want to lose my job. Your job is more important than the integrity of the media in this country and the integrity of the government in this country. Then no, I'm afraid it's not.
Yeah.
I'm afraid it is not, my man.
Yeah, but you know what? Like it happens a lot, right? People fuck up and then they just try to avoid it.
Yeah. Just be a fucking man.
Be a fucking man.
All right. Well,
Hey.
I'm going to go yell at somebody else for a while. If you're a fan of science on Drinking Bros around 2:45 Central, 3:45 Eastern, we're going to kick off a show with Neil deGrasse Tyson. So
Thank you for your
you can
service.
tune in for that.
Thank you for your service.
See you in hell.
See you in hell.